Hey Morganton, Public Information Officer Ethan Smith here, and I'm joined today by Mayor Ronnie Thompson for our annual State of the City presentation. Mayor, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much. I always enjoy this State of the City.
Absolutely. And so a quick look back at 2019, it was a really significant year for Morganton. There was a lot of development and growth and a couple of new projects that started. If you could run me through those real quick.
2019 was really a big year for City of Morganton in building. We built the new hotel on North Green Street, built the skate park for the kids, finished the Martin Luther King Park, started the steakhouse, and so building was the biggest thing in Morganton in 2019.
Right, absolutely. And one of the most significant projects that you mentioned was the Fairfield Inn and Suites in the downtown hotel, and that one actually broke ground in summer of 2018, continued through 2019, and is set to schedule and finish up a little bit later this year, and it's going to have some pretty cool features if you want to talk about those.
It is cool features. Number one, it's our first downtown hotel. We're real excited about that. It's going to have 85 rooms. It will be operational the first part of 2020. Have to get my right year. And we're so excited about it because it does give us a focus of being a city now with a hotel downtown, not just those on interstate.
Right, absolutely, and that tends to be a trend happening in cities now is more hotels in the downtown area and moving back into that area with some features that could even be open to the public as they rent out rooms and what have you.
We're just so excited about that and looking forward to the new hotel out at Exit 105. So that's coming along. They'll be working on that in 2020 and 21. So we're just excited that new hotels, people are seeing Morganton as a place to come, grow, and invest their money. We're real excited about that.
Absolutely. And obviously, when you have something downtown like that, you want to make sure that as people enter the gateways to downtown, they have attractive vistas and things that welcome them very nicely. And one of those things that we have is the Bell at Avery, right as you come in on Avery Avenue. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
We've encouraged everyone, if at all possible, to work on commercial property. And this is a property that just was a beautiful house at one time, had some disrepair. Some individuals bought it, fixed it up. It's a great location for people to come, stay in the city.
Right, and our Community Appearance Advisory Commission actually awarded a letter of commendation to the Bell at Avery.
Gave an award to them, and well deserved.
And then one of the most significant projects that's been going on is the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics. It broke ground in June of 2019, and its construction is ongoing.
That's the biggest part of our building for 2019. They are continuing construction. Will open in the fall of 2021. 150 kids coming, brightest kids coming to stay in Morganton with us, and it just gives them exposure with the university system in town. They are continuing that construction, and that'll be the building for 2020 and 21.
Right, and obviously their original campus is in Durham, and so what does it mean for Morganton to have been selected for their first ever satellite campus outside of Durham?
Well, 14 states have a School of Science and Math. North Carolina now is going to be the first state to have two. This curriculum in Morganton is going to be slightly different than the curriculum in Durham, and so when the kids decide where they want to go to, they'll look at the curriculum and say, well, I'd rather be in Morganton or I'd rather be in Durham. So it gets students from the coast, the Piedmont, and the mountains coming to Morganton and exposing Morganton to them and them being exposed to us. So we're real excited about that university being integral part of Morganton.
Right. And another thing, shifting the focus back to downtown, what's happening lately is a lot of mixed-use development. We have a lot of retail shops, a lot of restaurants, and everything else going on, and now we're seeing a lot of mixed-use development. One of those is on, I believe, 301 North Sterling Street, if you want to talk about that.
301 North Sterling was a building that was not being fully utilized. A real estate person decided to put commercial on the first floor, residential apartments on the second floor. That's North Sterling Street. South Sterling Street now has the Moondog Pizza going into it. The Burke Arts Council is moving to South Sterling. Those buildings are down South Sterling, which is Catawba Brewing, is still working on some projects there. So we're real excited just about Sterling Street. North Green Street, of course, has got the hotel, and so the two major egress and ingress into the city really are changing, and over the next 5 years, you may not even recognize some of it. Part I left out was on South Sterling Street with the old Cole's Auto Shop, which is being renovated into commercial on the first floor and apartments up on the second floor. So real excited about all those changes on our major thoroughfares.
Right. Lots of really good things going on. And then moving outside of downtown, perhaps at the other end of town, we have a new connector road and a new Longhorn Steakhouse going up. Could you tell me a little bit more about those?
Longhorn Steakhouse will be located at exit 105. That will open in early 2020. Our connector road that's going in will be a major thoroughfare. We're extremely excited about that.
And moving into a little bit of the nuts and bolts of finances with the city, we had citywide revenues for fiscal year 18 through 19 of more than 72 million and expenditures that were a little over 65 million. Could you talk a little bit about that?
And that's good when your revenues more than your expenses. Of course, our biggest expense is electricity. It's about 40% of our budget, and our revenue is about 40%. So it really that carries the city, and we made some money in electricity department last year. So it is a big budget, and but we've got great management in this city, and so we have been able to actually make a little money and save the taxpayers from having a tax increase.
Right, and our electric service actually had a wholesale rate cut that got passed down through our public power providers of about 3% last year.
That is correct, and so we want to pass that on to our customers and make sure that we keep electric rates as low as possible.
Right, absolutely. And then another big thing for the city of Morganton with all of our shops and hotels and what have you is our sales tax revenue, which was very strong in the last fiscal year.
Sales tax revenue of October of 18 versus October of 19 was up about $30,000. It really is amazing. Our shops have helped us, our wholesale and retail shops around the city, both downtown and out of downtown, really have helped us make our budget and have some surplus. So that's really great news.
Right, absolutely. And then with everything going on that's so wonderful with people coming here and schools being developed here, we obviously have to have places for people to live. And so the city is doing a lot to meet that housing need for people. Could you tell me a little bit more about the developments that happened in 2019 and what's coming up this year?
Well, 2019 saw the old Alpine Mill, Morganton 7, open, get filled up real quick. Coming is a tract on about 32 acres over on Kirksey Drive, which I hope is expected to be about 80 homes. We have 200 townhouses being built off Enola Road, and downtown we just proposed a contract to build 45 affordable senior housing right on Meeting Street. It's a piece of property that's stayed vacant for years and years, and finally we have a developer who's going to come in. Seniors need housing and seniors need affordable housing, so those 45 units will probably won't be developed until 21. We'll get through 20 with all the financing and start building in 21. So we're real excited about housing downtown so that people can enjoy downtown.
So as families come to live in Morganton, they obviously enjoy going out to eat and going out to our shops, but they want something else to do. And so the city manages more than 400 acres of parklands, and we just completed 2 ribbon cuttings for 2 new parks in the city limits.
Just the 14 parks that Morganton has covers all areas of Morganton, but our 2 newest renovations would be Martin Luther King Park, which has been great. Kids on that side of the city just did not have access with their own splash pad. Martha's Park was just overused, and so now we've got 2 splash pads that they can choose from. Our other renovation was, and actually built, was the skate park. We were trying to get students and kids off the street. They were just skateboarding on church property, and this gives them their own park. I do want to say that we're so excited about our Catawba Meadows Park because it is well used and our Greenway is well used. I walk every weekend down there and see people from South Carolina, Virginia, all over North Carolina coming to on the weekends just to be on that park. They say they're just so impressed with our Greenway and that system. So we're real excited about that.
Right, absolutely. It's a really unique feature. And then another thing that's set to make some real progress this year that we held public meetings about in 2019 is our Courthouse Square renovations. Could you tell me more about that?
Well, we talked about Sterling Street. We talked about Green Street. In the middle of those 2 is the old courthouse.
Right.
We we'll begin, I believe, in September of 2020 with renovations after the festival. We want to get through the festival.
Right.
Then we will start those renovations. The old jailhouse gallery will be gone, and that renovation will take place, and construction will take place fall of 2020 and also into 2021. It's going to be a venue where everybody can enjoy music concerts. They can actually have plays. People can come and enjoy that side of the courthouse square.
Mm-hmm.
In a different venue. We feel like it's going to be a major attraction for downtown Morganton.
Right, absolutely. And then one of the more unique things that we had come through the city this year after those public meetings was our 9/11 quilt display at the College Street Recreation Center. Could you talk to me a little bit about that?
The 9/11 quilt display was a surprise for us.
Mm-hmm.
I received a call from a woman up in Indiana that said she wanted to bring the 9/11 quilt display. And quite frankly, I did have no idea what she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Did some research. 30,000 people worked on quilts in memory and honor of those people who were killed in 9/11. Firefighters, police officers, Pentagon workers, citizens. And so, again, 30,000 people pieced these quilts together. We were the only city in North Carolina to have that quilt display. And we were so proud to have that at College Street Recreation Center. It was really touching. Eric Cranford, one of the local citizens who was killed at the Pentagon with 9/11, was honored on several of those quilt patches. And we were so impressed and so moved by having that quilt display.
And going back to all the development that we have happening throughout the city, one of the most important things as development happens is connectivity between all of that development. A service that we saw spring forth in 2018 that continued to gain steam in 2019 and continues to gain traction is our Greenway public transport. Could you tell me more about that?
Greenway Transport is a coalition of city, county, private industry, the hospital, Kate B. Reynolds Foundation gave us a grant, and it's a connectivity throughout the city of Morganton and then throughout the cities and towns in Burke County, with it going to Valdez, Ruffolk College, Drexel, Morganton. And it really is fantastic for people who need to get to the cancer center, who need to get to the grocery store, who need to get to the pharmacy, who need to get to the doctor, health department, social services. It really, every hour on the hour, that bus stops where it's supposed to be. And so it really is an efficient way of moving people who just do not have transportation to get to those vital services.
Right. Absolutely. And you touched on it briefly when we were talking about all the downtown development, but our Burke Arts Council is set to move into a new building on Sterling Street. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the Arts Council will be moving into South Sterling Street. They're very excited to take an older building which has been vacant for a long time and redeveloped and redesign that building. It's going to be a real unbelievable venue the way the plans are set up right now. I've seen those drawings. Extremely excited because arts in Burke County and in Morganton is critical, and we need to have that venue for young and old artists to show and exhibit their work.
Right, absolutely. And as our city grows and expands, obviously, we have a lot of new highways and roads and everything being built. And I know you mentioned before one of the biggest questions that you get is about the highway planning process. Could you talk to me a little bit about how highways are planned?
It is an extremely complex property. We have a council of governments in these four counties,
right,
and they get together and decide what the priorities should be. That goes to the council of government staff, which then develops a plan, and it comes to the elected officials in these four counties, which are given priorities. And then it goes to the state, and then it goes to the federal government. So it is a plan that, to be honest, was really, really confusing to the layperson out there on the street until you sit through it. We are excited. Several exits in Morganton: exit 100, exit I think 107, 106. In 107 on down towards Drexel are going to be on the drawing board. I'm not sure when that timetable is going to be. I hope to live long enough to see that happen, but it's not going to be in the next few years.
Sure. Lots of moving parts to that.
Right.
And so it sounds like there's really a lot of great stuff going on and a lot to get excited about. So is there anything that we haven't talked about or that I haven't asked you that you want to make sure the citizens know about?
I would like to say a brief word about two councilmen which are not on, Sidney Simmons and Forrest Fleming, who served as my mayor pro tem, both wonderful public servants. I'm just so excited to have worked with them for 6 years. We're going to miss them. We did get 2 new city councilmen, Chris Jernigan and Butch McSwain. We're so excited about them coming on board, bringing their new perspective into it. Look forward to working with them, and they bring some energy. Some of us get old and tired, but they bring that energy and get us rejuvenated. So we're excited about Chris and Butch being on that. We're really going to miss Sydney and Forrest, but we thank them for their service and so glad they were able to bring Morganton to the level we are now.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Mayor, that's all I had for you today, but I appreciate you sitting down with us.
Ethan, thanks so much. I appreciate all our city workers. Our management here in Morganton makes sure that the money is raised and spent wisely, and we've got a good staff. I would like to take credit for all the stuff that's done, but it's really staff that make this city what it is, and I'm so proud of all the staff. They do such a great job and make Morganton a proud place to live, work, and play.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.